Hmm?
What?
Tell him the Lord was in the room
I
with
said
you.
the Lord was in the room with me that night because I was sitting on the side of my bed when I was talking to him. Didn't see him, but I knew who I was talking
Well,
to.
you'd been asleep in it. You woke up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start from the beginning.
Well, he woke me up when he come, you know, he come in the room. He started talking to me, and at first I guess I thought it was a dream, because after I got to talk to him, he started to ask me. I always wished I'd have, the next day or several days later, I wished I'd have wrote down what he
Exactly,
different
the word.
questions he asked. He
Yeah.
asked me a bunch of questions, and the things that I'd done, you know.
Like
And-
what?
Well, that he done for me.
Oh.
He just like the one time there, you know, that's after we come back when Bill had his nervous breakdown, wasn't it?
Yeah, but this happened before Bill's nervous breakdown. I think this all happened before Bill's nervous breakdown.
But anyway, he had
But
done a
course,
lot of
He had
things.
promised the Lord if he'd get him back home, safe from the war.
Oh, so maybe that was one of the things he was reminding
Yeah,
you
they
of.
just reminded him.
Didn't I bring you home
Yeah.
safe from the war?
Yeah, well, he asked me several questions, you know, and I answered them best I could, you know. And he said, then he asked me, before he started leaving, he asked me, he said,
How's your health, didn't he say?
yeah.
Well, how's your health?
And he said, what about your health, son? And I said, well, I'm in pretty good health. I said, I weighed about 180 pounds and just got out of service, you know. I said, I guess I'm in about as good a health as I've ever been in. He said, what if I told you had heart problem? And boy, when he said that, it's like throwing a bucket of cold water in my face, you know. Heart problem. And then that's when he left me. And I was sitting up on the bed. I was sitting on the side of the bed, my feet on the floor talking to him. And there's a glow in that room when he left, you know, he left a glow. And it wasn't, well, we was going forward that next week, wasn't it?
I guess it was real soon after that,
Yeah.
probably that weekend.
And I had bad indigestion in my heart, you know. My heart, really it was my heart, but it was indigestion.
He didn't feel good the whole time he was there.
I didn't let nobody know anything about it, you know. And all the time I was up there, I was sick. I was out at Mildred's house, you know, and they was fixing hamburgers.
He was over at Artie's house.
I didn't want to eat nothing, you know. And still wouldn't tell them, you know. And after we got back home, I told her, I said, I'm going to have to go over and see the doctor. And so when I got over to the hospital, you know, see the clinic, to see this doctor, you know, and he examined me and he said, I'll tell you what, says, you go home and pack you a suitcase and we're going to put you in the hospital. But first,
He came home and when he drove up in the driveway, he sat out there like this for a while. His head over on the steering wheel. And didn't even move.
how'd you know that?
Well, I saw you when you drove up in the driveway.
But anyway, before they gave me the exam in the hospital, where the doctor looked at me, I told her, you know, that I was having. She said, well, a lot of people have that. Said it's probably nothing. I said, yeah, it's something. I already knew what it was.
Exactly.
I said, yeah, it's something.
No doubt. When he tells you, there's gonna be something wrong, there's something wrong.
I said, yeah, it's something wrong. But what it was is a heart infection.
Fluid around
the heart. Wasn't
Infection
the heart
around
itself, but it
infection
was
around the heart.
Yeah.
It was a fluid around my heart. And that old doctor over there thought I was having family trouble, you know, at home. Because every time I'd come in and see him, you know, well, how's your wife? I said, she's doing fine. And
What made you think he was thinking that?
Oh, see, he just thought we was having some kind of problem.
Yeah.
And was causing the,
Right.
and he never did get me to say, well, I was always bragging on her, and that,
Right.
that didn't go along with what he wanted to hear.
Uh-huh. Wasn't what he was thinking was gonna be the problem.
But I was in there about 11 days, wasn't it? 11 or 12 days. And I knew
And then he
when
had
I went
off
over,
work for,
I knew what was wrong. He done told me. He said, what if you have heart trouble? Man, he could just, like pouring a bucket of water in
Yeah.
my face.
So, as a result of that, were there some changes made? What was the
absolutely.
outcome? What was the outcome of this lesson?
He got himself in
I
church.
got straight with the Lord, and I
Yeah,
started going to
he got
church.
himself in church. Right away.
Whenever you ever talk with him, it'd be like what you call on the road to Damascus when he struck blind. You know who you're talking to then.
Well, he promised the Lord, if he'd get him back home from that old war safe, that he'd serve him. And I kept trying to get him to go to church. He wouldn't go to church. I took you and the kids to the Baptist church because I could walk right down there to it, the little Baptist church. Nah, he wouldn't go. Couldn't get him to go. And it was a little bit too much for me, with the 3 little ones. So I kind of eventually quit going down there, And so we wasn't going anywhere when we finally moved out to Jacinto City. And then that's when it happened. In Jacinto City is when he heard from the Lord. And that very weekend that we were in Fort Worth,
That's when
well,
she
I
got.
had really been struggling because I knew I should be in church. I knew I should get my life back straightened, with the Lord. And I'd really been struggling because I'd been hearing about, Sonny, and he was a preacher now. Christine's a preacher. Dude was a preacher, and they're all in the assemblies, and they were preaching the baptism of the Holy Spirit. And I started reading up on all that, So I didn't know anything about the baptism of the Holy Spirit. And I've been reading all about that. So that the very weekend that we were up there that he was sick, well, I went to church with Sonny and all of them, They all went to the same church, dude and everybody. And I really felt convicted and drawn, to the Lord that morning. I went to the altar. And that was the morning that I bet I stayed there at that altar an hour. They were all praying for me. That's when I received the baptism in the Holy Spirit. Didn't know a thing about it. I didn't know anything about speaking in tongues, but I lay there and spoke in tongues for, I don't know how long. And boy, I got up, I was really a changed person. You just, Linda, you just feel such love. I mean, it's just like you're just overflowing with love for everybody. You just want to love everybody. Just the way I felt.
But he didn't go.
No, he didn't go.
So when did you decide,
And-
after you got back and got in the hospital, when did you decide?
Yeah.
Well, then Earlene came down, prayed for him, and
While
and
he was in
then-
the hospital?
Yeah, and then when he came home from the hospital, well, Dude and Earlene came back again, and we all went and visited a little church down there, just in the city, assembly. And I mean, right away, was it while Dude was there that you received the Holy Spirit?
I don't remember that part.
But right away, he went to the altar, and he just received the Holy Spirit, just like Brother Farmer said. I never seen anybody receive the Holy Spirit with their eyes open. Usually
Yeah,
people
he said,
got their
"My
eyes
eyes."
closed, and or maybe got their heads down on the bench or something, But he was sitting up there with his eyes open, and Brother Farmer said, "I never seen anyone receive the Holy Spirit with their eyes open."
Well, I mean, there's nothing in the rules that say you have to
I
have your
know
eyes
it. That's
closed,
right. It was
you know?
just unusual, Even
And that
if
was
you
when
have
Brother
your
Farmer
eyes,
was at
you just have your
Tennessee?
eyes closed,
Brother Farmer was at Jacinta City?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Brother Blake.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, that's how it all got started.
Well, so all them fishing trips, that was before you got saved? I mean, I remember living in
Uh-huh.
Jacinta City and you still going fishing a lot.
Yeah, he still went fishing quite a bit in Jacinta City, but he went more before. The
Oh,
10 years that we were married, the first 10 years we was married, he went to fishing a lot.
I remember him going like, it seemed like every weekend,
Yeah.
going fishing.
And he still went when he was in Jacinta City, but
Not as much.
not as much. After he got in church, you know, he told me, you know, I used to tell him, you know, it really hurt me because he'd go off all the time. And I'm left home with the kids, and I always look forward to the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me later, said, you know, I really didn't realize how I was hurting you, leaving you like that.
Well, I started to take you.
But he was having so much fun, you know, his own,
Yeah, he was
You
just
know,
thinking about
yeah.
going and having fun.
right.
Wasn't thinking
And
about
he
what you
wasn't
were stuck
thinking
behind
about
with.
what leaving me at home, you know, with just me and the little ones. And of course, no car, you know, I wasn't driving then. So we just sat there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So,
but
like, me and Josh alone at
you and the
Pond
kids. I took you and the kids picnicking and down the lake.
Down the lake, yeah.
You know, we used
We
to,
went down there a lot,
Several-
it seemed like.
Quite a few times.
yeah, we went picnicking.
I didn't go all the time.
You know,